But now we're on to green. So let's see. It does green do landfall things? Or +1/+1 counters looking at this thing. Starting with Atmospheric Greenhouse, which is 5 mana for put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control, which is pretty good. I mean, 5 mana is a lot, so it's a bit expensive, or very expensive for that, but I mean, it's on each creature you control, so it's like a whole board-wide buff, which is nice. And then at 8, you can turn it into a 5/4 Flying Trampler, which is decent. Not the biggest card we've seen, but decent for a flyer, especially in green. So yeah, I think this is a half decent card at least. Just because +1/+1 counter on all your creatures is noticeable and limited, because it just means you probably then start winning. Like if the board state is locked and then all of your creatures get bigger, you either now have a winning board state or it's like locked for even longer, which probably makes you able to get this into a Flying Trampler and start fighting. Bioengineered Future. It is doing... Okay, so they are doing lander things. Okay, so yes, red is also supporting green because it's doing the lander tokens as well. Or maybe green's making lander tokens and supporting red. I don't know. 3 mana for an enchantment. When it enters, create a lander token, and each creature you control enters with an additional +1/+1 counter on it for each land that entered the battlefield under your control this turn. Right. Yeah. So, yes, the lander token... So, well, the problem is the lander tokens cost 2 to activate, right? And the lands come into play tapped. So, I mean, but then again, even just play land and then play like 2 creatures, that's still 2 +1/+1 counters on each. Or 1 +1/+1 counter on each, which is really good. And if they have... sack lands in this, like Evolving Wilds, that's essentially 2 +1/+1 counters on this. I think this, depending on how much lander tokens you've got, this, or just ways of getting multiple lands a turn, this is really crazy if you go off on a turn with it, right? Like if you save up and then, you know, sack Evolving Wilds and a lander token, and then play like 2 or 3 creatures, and they all come in with +3/+3 or +2/+2. Is this as good as I think it is? I think you can. Again, I don't know because the lander tokens cost mana to sacrifice, but I think this is. I think that honestly, I think the way you use this card is literally just play a land, everything of mine gets +1/+1. But that's still good because you're going to be playing lands every turn theoretically. So yeah, it's still good. Biosynth Burst. 2 mana, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control gains reach, trample, and indestructible until end of turn. Untap it. So we had a very similar card to this. It didn't give a counter, it just gave +1/+1, reach, trample, and indestructible. And it didn't untap. I can't remember what it was. It was a couple of sets ago. But, I mean, this is obviously... Like, again, I don't really use combat tricks because if your opponent has removal, it just blows you out. But this is protection because it gives indestructible and it allows you to untap the creature so you can then block with it, which makes your opponent really sad if they try and blow up your creature and then you just play this. So this is probably better than most, I think. Just because of indestructible and untapping it so you can then block with it even after you attack. Because, like, you swing with a creature. If your opponent removes it or tries to remove it, you play this and they fail. And if they don't try to remove it, you just hit them for damage and then they try and attack back. Yeah, but then if you target this with untap it, then they can remove it in response. Okay. Maybe this is still good. I don't know. Blooming Stinger. 2 mana, 2/2 with Death Touch. When it enters another type creature you control gains Death Touch. We've seen this effect before. Cool Scorpion looking thing though. Broodguard Elite is a green X enters with X +1/+1 counters. When this creature leaves the battlefield, put its counters on target creature you control, and you can warp it for a green and single X. This is a good card. If you've got somewhere for the counters to go, you just warp this guy in with however many counters you want. He leaves, you put them on something else, then the next turn you just play him with one less of those counters, or with one less, and he still comes in fine. Yeah, this is a good card. If you're doing +1/+1 counter stuff, this guy's very good. Close Encounters. 2 mana. As an additional cost to cast a spell, choose a creature you control or a warped creature card you own in exile. Close Encounters deals damage equal to the power of the chosen creature or card to target creature. Okay, so green removal, sure. You almost definitely want to run this and take this because it's removal. The fact that you can target a card in exile, a warped card in exile, means your opponent can't blow up the creature in response to this. So it's probably better to target a warped card in exile if you can, because then your opponent can't really interact with it. But, I mean, maybe you just target your own creature and punch somebody. Sure. Diplomatic Relations. Give me a second. Yeah. 3 mana instant. Target creature gets +1/+0 and gains vigilance. Was this an instant or a sorcery? It was an instant. Okay. Target creature gets +1/+0 and gains vigilance until end of turn. It deals damage equal to its power to target creature an opponent controls. This is good. This is just another piece of green removal, and you get to swing afterwards. So yeah, I like that. It's 2 pieces of green removal back to back. Like I said, Close Encounter's better because you can target something that's warped, which means your opponent can't interact with it. This one, they can just blow your creature up in response, but that's the risk you pay for running green removal, I guess. Drix Fate Maker. 4 mana, 3/2. When it enters, put a +1/+1 counter on something. Each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter has trample, and you can warp it for 2. Yeah, pretty good. I mean, 2 mana, put a +1/+1 counter on something, and all your creatures with +1/+1 counters have trample until end of turn. And then bring it back, put another +1/+1 counter, and then everything has trample until this guy dies. Oh, warp is getting scarier by the fucking card. Edge Rover, a 1 mana 2/2 with reach. And when it dies, each player creates a lander token. But you have stuff that wants lands to come into play, so that's probably better for you. That's a good card. 1 mana 2/2 with reach. That's cracked. Okay, sure, yeah. Eumidian Terror Botanist. Sure. 2 mana 2/3 landfall. When a land enters, gain a life. Good card because you're going to heal yourself up with it, so you're more free to attack, and you obviously have ways to generate more lands because you're playing green and probably red with landfall. You use Social Engineering. 5 mana. Whenever a land enters, create a 2/2 color. So this is Chocobo Racetrack from the last set, but you can warp it in for 2. Yes, that's a good card. Congratulations. You figured it out. Yeah, no, this is a good card. So, like, turn 2, you warp this in, play a land, get a 2/2. Then, turn 5, you play this. Or turn 3, you warp this in, play a land, I suppose. And then, turn 6, you play this, play another land. Well, yeah, because you're going to be playing a bunch of lands, right? You're just going to be land ramping, so... Yeah. And, like, even if you draw this late, say you've got, like, a couple of lander tokens, you just warp this in, sack all your lander tokens, get a bunch of free triggers off of this, and then you can just play it the next turn. Yeah, this is good. Sure. Famished Worldsire is an 8 mana 0/0 with Ward 3. but it has Devour Land 3. As this creature enters, you may sacrifice any number of lands. It enters with 3 times that many +1/+1 counters. Right. So if it costs 8, you probably sacrifice 3 or 4 lands to it. So it's like a 9/9 or a 12/12. When this creature enters, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is this creature's power. Put any number of land cards from one onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Oh no, you just like sacrifice the whole deck, right? Like, so if you play this on turn 8, you probably have, let's say, like 20-ish cards left in the deck. So you sacrifice 6 lands, going down to 2. And then you look at the top 18 cards and put all lands revealed this way onto the battlefield tapped, triggering your landfall cards as many times as that is, which is probably like 10, maybe less, maybe like 7 or 8. Because it's going to be like all the remaining lands in your deck. However many lands you have. So let's say you've got 16 or 17 lands in your deck. You had 8, so you've got 8 or 9 cards left in your deck. So this gets 8 or 9 cards, 8 or 9 landfall triggers, and then your entire deck is just cards that you can play. This thing's bananas. And also, like, 6... So, yeah, 6 times 3 is 18. So then this is an 18/18 with Ward 3. This thing's bananas. I mean, it doesn't have trample. But, like, this says, hey, you like landfall? And then it just does it. Right? This is bananas. This is crazy. Crazy card. Yeah, this is fucking nuts. Because also the Devourer 3 is when it enters. So when you cast this, you don't have to sacrifice. If your opponent is countering it, you don't have to sacrifice, right? So the only way to really stop this thing from doing its thing is to counter it. And if you counter it, then your opponent played 8. You essentially paid 8 and nothing happens, which is about what you'd expect. It's not like you sacrifice the lands and then lose everything. Yeah, this is bonkers. It just has to be. It has to be bonkers. Yeah, I think if you see this card, you just run it. It's just fucking insane. Absolutely. Because it's a huge creature that removes every land from your deck, so then your deck is all gas from then on. And puts them onto the battlefield, which just means, yeah, from then on you can play everything and your entire deck is gas. This is bananas. Frenzied Baloth, a 2/2, can't be countered, trample and haste, creature spells can't be countered, combat deck. Holy fucking shit. What? What is this? How did I not see this card? Frenzied Baloth is a 2-mana 3/2 that can't be countered, gets angry, gets mean, means other stuff you play can't be counted, and damage can't be prevented, so fuck you fog players. I like this card. Holy shit. We're coming for you. We're gonna beat ass. Okay. Yep, Frenzied Baloth is a good card. Also, straight off of Famished. Man, Green's got some fucking good ass cards. I do like if you're playing up against like a blue player with a bunch of counter spells, you play this turn 2, your blue player just fucking throws his cards at you. That makes me happy. I'm gonna run this in every deck for the next 3 years. So whenever I play up against a blue player, they just cannot play the game. Every deck with green in it is having 4 copies of Frenzied Baloth just to piss blue players off. That makes me so fucking happy. Fungal Colossus is 7 mana, costs X less to cast, where X is the number of different named lands you could. Okay. So this can be a 1 mana 5/5. Because it's not differently named basic lands, so it's just differently named lands, which is you can easily get this down to a 1 mana 5/5, even in just a 2-color deck, right? Because I mean, not in limited. Not in limited. In limited, this is still going to cost you like 3 or 4. Sure, whatever. Depending on what the planets are like and all that, I guess. I don't know. I haven't seen that yet. But yeah, this is probably going to cost you 3 or 4. But in standard, you've got like the tap lands that, or the 2-color lands that enter tapped unless you control. And if you have more than 2 lands, the ones that ping you for damage, the ones that heal you when they enter, the ones that become creatures. What else have you got? You got the land that makes the infect tokens. You've got the lands that scry, enter tapped and scry. You've got the 3-color lands as well, and you've got basics. There's so many others as well. So this is in standard. This is a 1 mana 5/5. But in limited, this is probably going to cost you like 3 or 4. Which is still pretty good, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. You will have to see how it shows up in limited. But I like that this is just in standard. This is just a 1 mana 5/5 for everyone who's not just playing a monocolored deck. Galactic. Oh, actually, thinking about it, isn't this like the what's it? The 4-color Atraxa deck, or just the 4-color domain, or 4 or 5-color domain deck that has like what the fuck is the card called? The 2 mana green up the beanstalk that runs up the beanstalk. Isn't this just a 1 mana 5/5 in that deck that's already just running overpriced cards that are made cheaper by lands because they trigger up the beanstalk. Like, this triggers up the beanstalk, right? So isn't this just more up the bean? I can't remember. Did up the beanstalk get banned? Because if it didn't, isn't this just more up the beanstalk fodder? I don't remember. Maybe not. Galactic Wayfarer. 3 mana for a 3/3 when it enters, create a land token. Sure, yeah, 1 card. The 3 mana 3/3, it does give you ramp-ish. Sure. Gene Pollination is a 1 mana... Gene Pollinator, sorry. 1 mana 1/2 that you can tap to tap an untapped permanent you control, add 1 mana of any color. There was an elf that did this that was actually pretty good. So I'm not going to say it's terrible. There's also cards that care about 2 creatures being tapped, which this just triggers immediately. We haven't seen any in green, but in white they care, and in red there were some that care. So, pretty good. Maybe pretty good. I don't know. Germinating Worm, a 5 mana 5/5. When it enters, you gain 2 life, and you can warp it for 2. Sure. So 2 mana, gain 2, and then later 5 mana for a 5/5, gain 2. This is just going to sort of keep you alive that little bit longer against the aggro decks. I think it's pretty good. Again, I don't know how aggressive the set's going to be, but something like this can make all the difference. Really. Glacial Godmore. Jesus, green's got some big things. It's making me happy. Is a 7 mana 6/6 with trample. When it enters, create a lander token. And landfall, whenever a land you control enters, creatures you control get +1/+1 vigilance and haste. Game winner. Right? I know they don't get trample, but they've got vigilance, so it doesn't matter. Game winning card. Holy fucking Jesus, wait. You have Godmore on turn 7. You play Godmore on turn 7. Turn 8. Your famished world sire. Your opponent just looks as their whole world comes to an end. Because what's that? Like I said, that's 8 or 9 triggers of all your creatures get +1/+1 vigilance and haste. So the Godmore gets haste. So the famished world sire gets haste as well. Just comes in, just crack a motherfucker in the jaw. Okay, so green's got some nuts ass cards. Also, this is uncommon. Like you can probably get this in most green decks, and this will just win you a game if you can start getting lands out after this thing comes out and it's not dealt with. I'm going to enjoy playing green in this set, I can already tell. Harmonious Grove Strider. 5 mana for a star with Ward 2, power and toughness equal to the number of lands you control. Again, this thing is just a huge-ass beater. Yeah, this is just another really good... There's some good landfall... People are going to be so angry. People that don't like green or landfall are going to be so mad because of all this shit, but like... Yeah. This is what I like in green. I like big things hitting people in the face. Hemosymbic Might. Okay. 1 mana for a 1/1. Whenever this creature becomes tapped, another type creature you control gets +X/+X, where X is this creature's power. Oh, that's cool. So if you put like +1/+1 counters on this thing, you can just swing with this and then pump other things as well. I actually think that's kind of cool. I don't know how good it will be. We'll have to see, but that's very cool. Ice Cave Crasher, 4 mana, 4/4 with trample, and it gets bigger with landfall. Not the most game-breaking card, but certainly good enough, probably. Ice Till Explorer, 4 mana for a 2/4. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. You may play lands from your graveyard, and whenever a land you control enters mill. Yep, this'll push the landfall deck into a. There's like the landfall deck is just the landfall and lander deck is just crazy, right? Like we haven't seen what the 2-color cards are, but if there's a landfall 2-color, like this is nuts. Very, very cool. I mean, yeah, this guy is probably good all of the time, but it's exceptionally good if you are actually doing the landfall stuff. Intrepid Thunderfoot is a 2 mana 2/2 that can grow itself for 3 mana. Sure, I mean, good way to dump. It's a good mana dump, I guess. And it's a 2 mana 2/2. I don't hate it. It's fine. Larval Scoutlander. Okay, 3 mana when it enters. Search. You may sacrifice a land or lander. Search your library for 2 basic lands. Put them onto battlefield. Tap and shuffle. Yep, that's really good. And for 7, you can turn it into a flying 3/3. So turning it into a flying 3/3 is kind of nothing. Maybe it gets you there. Maybe it doesn't. It's compared to the other flyers in this set. It's kind of crap. But 3 mana, sacrifice a lander, get 2 basic lands to trigger all your landfall stuff is really good. Even sacrificing a land to do it and going up 1 land and still triggering all your landfall stuff again, really good. As I'm sure anyone who plays landfall or plays against landfall will say. Lash Whip Predator is a 6 mana 5/7, costs 2 less to cast if your opponent controls 3 or more creatures, and has reach. Sure, good defensive creature. So it's a 4 mana 5/7 with reach if you're under pressure. That can save you, depending on if your opponent has removal or something, but that can do it. Loading Zone. 4 mana enchantment. If one or more counters would be put onto a creature, spacecraft, or planet you control. Oh, yeah. So this is the other side of doubling season. It's counters doubling season. Green has this all the time. Green has counters. White has additional tokens, and then green also got additional tokens. They just nicked that from white because why not? And it's got warp for 1. So yeah, this is just good. Like, maybe not as good as the token doubler in white that has the warp for 2, but easily still very, very good. Absolutely. Very, very good. Well, actually, for 4 mana, it doesn't do anything itself. But it would then make things just grow. Okay, no, because the 1 mana warp makes it way better, right? Because you can just warp this in and then do a couple of +1/+1 counter shenanigans, and then your board is probably just strong enough that you can play this on turn 4 without having to worry about just being brutally murdered. Stealth, I think the warp makes it. Melt Strider Urologist. 3 mana, 3/3. Whenever a creature you control dies with whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it dies, draw a card. If you're doing +1/+1 counters, this is great. It's also a 3 mana, 3/3, so it's just going to be good in general. Melt Strider's Gear. A 1 mana enchantment. When it enters, attach it to target creature you control, and it gives it +2/+1 on reach. Sure. I'm not a big artifact or equipment person. This is kind of okay. Melt Strider's Resolve. 1 mana, enchant creature you control. When this aura enters, enchanted creature fights up to 1 target creature an opponent controls. Okay. Enchanted creature gets +0/+2 and can't be blocked by more than 1 creature. Yeah. I think just this is a 1 mana fight effect, right? Again, your opponent can just kill the creature you equip this to. But, I mean, that's always how it's going to work with green removal, pretty much, apart from that one piece we saw that can target things that are warped. So, yeah, this is 1 mana green removal. Sure. Might Form Harmonizer is a 4 mana 4/4 with landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, double the power of target creature. Oh, that's dangerous. We just had this on Tifa. Tifa has, when a land enters, double this creature's power. Why do we need a second one? Literally the set after. What? Because don't you just, like... Oh, Wizards, this might be too much. Because, so, right, so let's say turn 1, Forest, play the Shizu's Chocobo or whatever, the one that grows. Turn 2, play a land, the Chocobo grows, play Tifa. Turn 3, play a land, Chocobo grows, Tifa doubles. Do whatever, it doesn't matter. Turn 4, even if you haven't played an extra land, right? So, you warp this guy in for 3. You play Fabled Passage. This triggers. So Tifa goes from 1 to 2. No. Yeah, goes from 1 to 2, and then this guy doubles it from 2 to 4. You sacrifice Fabled Passage. You get another land in. Tifa goes... Or Tifa tries to double, this guy tries to double. You can just, like, 1 mana Giant's Growth Tifa. She's gone from 2 to 5. So she doubles to 10. This doubles her to 20. She kills you. Right? Is that not what happens? I mean, I suppose Tifa could already pretty much do that. So maybe this isn't really... But this just makes it more consistent, right? All you need in your starting hand is 3 lands, Tifa, this, a Giant Growth, and um, Fabled Passage. And you will kill someone. Unless your opponent interacts, you will kill someone on turn 4. I don't know. Maybe that's not that good, to be fair. Maybe that's too slow. But I like, do we really need another way to double the power of something? We've already got Tifa that does it. I don't think we need this. This is the first one that I'm like, nah. I mean, okay. I think in limited this is good. And probably fine. Maybe it still does exactly the same thing and just doubles something and pounds you into a fucking paste. But, like, I think in limited this is probably fine. But in standard, we already have this from Tifa at 2. And doubling twice it's just going to go stupid. Right? Like, you're just going to be able to make Tifa like a 70,072 or a 70 million 2 and then give it trample and then just fucking annihilate people. It's just... yeah, sure, why not? Let's give it. Let's have 2 of them. Why not? In the same fucking rotational. Literally, they're 2 sets after each other. So this is going to be. Both of them are going to be around for 3 fucking years. Sure. Ooh, Ouroboros. Ouroboros is a 4 mana 1/3. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put X +1/+1 counters on each creature you control, where X is this creature's power. Crazy. Absolutely fucking nuts. Has to be removed immediately, or you're just gonna lose. Like, also, I think this is nuts as well. Like, Green's got some absolutely fucking nuts. Oh god, this is nuts. So you play this, and then at the beginning of combat, everything, including this, because it is each creature you control, not each other, including this, gets a +1/+1 counter. So the next turn, if this doesn't die, everything gets 2. And then the next turn, if everything doesn't die, everything gets 4. And then the next turn, if this doesn't die, everything gets 8. Right? Because it's where it's this creature's power. So it's just like exponentially gonna go fucking off like an absolute nutter. This is bonkers. You have to kill this. Like, if your opponent plays this and you don't have removal in hand, you just concede. Turn 4. There's nothing you can do. Because this by itself is just gonna go fucking bonkers. Yeah. No, this is absolute. I mean, it is a mythic rare, so sure, whatever. But 4 mana, win the game is just fucking bonkers. I mean, I guess with removal, it's not that bad. So, like, in standard, this probably sucks ass. But, like, in limited, where you don't always have access to removal, again, and so here's the thing as well. Black's removal, I suppose at 4, it did have just exile something. But Black's early removal, like 1 and 2 mana, is -3/-3. So if they don't get a chance to hit this with that, like, if you play this and they can't do it immediately and you go to combat, this becomes a 2/4 and, like, everything apart from the 4 mana removal from Black just no longer hits this. Fuck. Yeah, this is... Well, I suppose there is the 3 mana rare removal, and I suppose if you've got a mythic rare, your opponent might have a rare. But yeah, this is bonkers. Pull through the weft. 5 mana sorcery, return up to 2 target non-land permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand, then return up to 2 target land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Probably pretty good, just for landfall triggers. Returning the 2 permanents is probably fine, but I think you care more about the lands. It does cost 5, but I don't hate it, just because you'll want to be triggering the landfall as often as possible, right? So, sure. Sammy's Curiosity is a 1 mana sorcery. Gain 2 life, create a lander token. Sure, not terrible. It helps with your landfall stuff because of the lander token. Keeps you alive because you gain a little bit of life. It's not awful, not great. It's just kind of sure, fine. Siege Ship Agrarian. Sure. 4 mana, 3/3. When it becomes tapped, you create a lander token, and whenever a land you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter. another really good card. It's slightly overcosted, but if you have a way to tap it by like fueling up a starship, you're just going to poop out lander tokens everywhere, and this is just going to get bigger and bigger with landfall, and yeah, it's just going to be... again, maybe lander tokens are too slow because you actually have to pay mana into them, but I fucking doubt it, right? So, yeah, I don't know. Seed Ship Impact. 2 mana, instant, destroy target artifact or enchantment. If its mana value is 2 or less, create a lander token. It depends how scary artifacts or enchantments are in this set. I probably wouldn't run this, but if it makes a lander token, maybe it's fine, right? Shattered Wings. I think we've seen cards very similar to this in every set. Destroy target artifact, enchantment, or creature with flying. This one lets you surveil 1, which is nice, but sure. This is not green removal because it only hits creatures with flying, which, I mean, when it does happen, that's great, but I wouldn't take it and be like, haha, look, I have green removal. That's just... Sky Stinger. 3 mana, 3/3 with reach, and whenever it blocks a creature with flying, it's an 8/3. Because fuck flying, that's why. Sure. I don't hate this card. I just... That's a bit much, right? Like, this is just fuck creatures with flying in particular. I don't know how... Maybe I'd run one of these just because it's funny. But this is again some of that hater shit, right? Like, this is just... How dare you have a creature with flying? Be gone! Oh, here's their rare one. Right, so Sledge Class Siege Ship. 3 mana for nothing. But if you get it to 7, it's a 4/5 flyer, and when it attacks, you may put a creature card from your... Oh, that's game-winning in Limited. That's very, very scary and game-winning in Limited. Jesus. Okay, yeah. Put any creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. Yeah, this is terrifying. Yep, this is terrifying. I can't think of anything else to say. This is just... It doesn't have like an early effect. So, you know, it doesn't have something you can just easily do, like the white or blue ones. The black one, it did have an early effect, but it was fucking worthless. So like the red one, but unlike the red one, it actually does something, and what it does is nuts. Because imagine, like, you do this, and you get it stacked up by your, like, 3 power creatures by, like, turn 5, and then you just attack with this because it doesn't, it's been around since turn 3, so it can attack immediately, and then you just go get the fucking, you just put from your hand that famished world sire. Just sack all 5 of your lands because it's turn 5. Look at the top 15 cards. Put all those lands into play, and you have a 15/15 with Ward 3 or whatever that thing had. Just bonkers. Again, this is only as good as the cards that are in your hand, but if you have cards in your hand that are good with this, it's fucking nuts. Tapestry Warden is a 4 mana 3/4 vigilance. Each creature you control with toughness greater than its power assigns combat damage equal to its toughness. It's what's the tree? Doman? It's the tree. Everybody hits with their ass. Each creature you control with toughness greater than its power stations permanents using its toughness. Okay. Yeah, this is the thick ass brigade. Maybe you could make this into a deck. I don't know. I haven't really been paying attention to what has more toughness than power. But yeah, we've seen this before in a couple of sets. There's a tree folk that has it. There's a dragon that has it. Arca something. There's one of the new Dragonstorm commanders in Abzan has this effect. So yeah, just another I hit with my ass effect. Sure. Terra Symbiosis. 3 mana. Whenever you put 1 or more counters on a creature you control, you may draw that many cards. Do this only once each turn. Bonkers. absolutely bonkers. Just nuts. You can't give the green players draw like this. Again, maybe it's not that crazy in limited, but in like Commander, you can't give the green players draw like this. It's just fucking nuts. This is just gonna go so crazy. I think. Yeah, this is nuts. I mean, only once each turn is slightly limiting, but not really, right? Like when you're at the commander table and your green player puts 25 +1/+1 counters on a creature, draws 25 cards, you're not going to be like, well, that's the only one he can do this turn, right? Like it's fuck. Like it's just not like yeah. This is. I don't know about in limited, and I don't know about in standard, but like in commander, this is just bonkers. Thorbringer, 3 mana, 4/2. When it enters or dies, surveil 1. That we had almost exactly this card as a 2 mana 3/1 in a couple of sets ago. So it's a good card actually. So sure.